the last item, which is the survey question. Our goal is we have to answer A, B, and C, right? But before we can do A, B, and C, before we can answer A, B, and C, reminder, what do we need to do this item here? Which is, to do this item, the one thing that we need to do, or the one thing that we have to do, is we need to construct the Venn diagram, right? We need to have the Venn diagram, which is, for me, the Venn diagram, I have D for dog, C for cat, and P for parrot, right? Which is, looking at this thing here, the one thing is, when you construct the Venn diagram, reminder, the first thing to construct the Venn diagram is we need to start in the center, right? We need to know how many people have dog, cat, and parrot, which is, again, the information here is kind of a little bit out of order, but do you agree that 8 of them, 8 of the family show that they have a dog, a cat, and a parrot, right? Which is, in this case, 8 is in the center, which is, this is the intersection of all 3. Whoever at this region, they have, again, the dog, the cat, and the parrot, right? So again, every time we construct a Venn diagram, we need to ask ourselves, first of all, we need to ask ourselves what information they give us and where the information is, right? So once we have this thing here, which is, again, let's take a look at this thing here, which is the dog and the cat. Where is the region of dog and cat? Which is, again, the region of dog and cat is up here, which is, in order for me to fill in the number, remember, this is my dog and cat region, right? My dog and cat region is right here and right here. But in order for me to do that, I need to deduct what I already used, which is, I need to deduct the 8 out, which is, again, I take 18, which is 18 minus 8. I have 10, which is, again, the 10 is up there, which is, again, together, those are the 18 family have dog and cat. But again, there's only 10 of them have dog and cat, but not parrot, right? So again, looking at this thing here, which is, again, if you remember, what we do is, again, we basically ask ourselves what information they have, what information they give us, and what do we need to do, which is, again, reminder, we always, for this item, we always deduct from the center, which is, in this case, we have 8 people have dog and parrot, right? They did not say dog and parrot only, they say dog and parrot, which is in general, which is, again, we have to take 8 minus 8 because we already used the 8, which is, again, there are 0 that have dog and parrot by themselves. Whoever have dog, parrot, they have a cat along with it, right? And again, the next information is cat and parrot, which is 18 of them have cat and parrot, right? Which is, look at this thing here, same thing go. We have to take 18 minus 8, which is, again, this is the 10 people that have cat and parrot by themselves, not dog, right? So again, look at this thing here, and again, the next information they have is, again, for me, 15 have none. What does that mean? 15 have none? Well, hopefully you guys all say, well, 15 have none, meaning there's the 15 outside, right? There's no other number. I don't need to deduct anything. They just say 15 have none, meaning, again, this 15 family, I myself included, is out here. I don't have any of them, right? And again, the other one, which is, go back to the 23 dog, which is dog, what do we have? Which is, again, do you agree that this area, let me change the color. Do you agree that this area right here, this area right here, and this area right here, and right here, those area are the dog area, right? This circle right here is my dog circle. And again, you have to ask yourself, how many have you already used? Which is, again, in this case, I have used 18, which is, I have to take 23 minus 18, which is, I have 5, which is, everybody see that that is the 5 on the outside, right? So again, those are my 5 on the outside right here. And again, the last information they give me is the 21 people have parrot, which is, again, my parrot circle, same thing go. My parrot circle is right here, which is how many have I used? I already used 18, which is, I still have to take 21 minus 18, which is, I have 3 on the outside here. So again, once we have this item, which is, again, as you can see, we don't have this thing right here, right? This item, we don't have a number. So how can we find this missing number? Well, you have to ask yourself, how many family have accounted for, right? How many have you account, which is you add this number, you add this number, you add all of the number you have, which is, again, if you add all this number, let's see, 20, 30, 40, 51, right? If you add all this number, you have 51 of them together. And if you have 51 of them together, how many family do I have? Right? Oh, there's a cat over there. Anyway, I did not see that cat information, but again, the cat information is fine. The cat information is fine, but my way is still the same. We still have 2, right? The cat information, they say 30 cat. So 30 minus 10 minus 10 minus 8, you still have 2. And again, reminder, all this number, you can add them up to give you the total of 53, right? So that's what we have, which is the total of them have to be equal to 53, which is the total family we have. So that's the preliminary, right? That's not, that's not what our, well, your Alex have the question, you have to fill in this thing here. But again, the main question for us is how do we answer A, B, C, and D, right? Which is how many have only dog, right? How many have only dog, which is A by C. With this Venn diagram, we know that there are 5 have only dog, right? How many have only cat, which is A by C, that we have only 2 have only cat, right? And how many have dog and parrot, but not cat, right? So how many have dog, parrot, not cat, which is in this case, dog, parrot, not cat, they're on 0, right? No people, no families have dog and parrot by themselves. Like I mentioned, whoever have dog, parrot, they have a cat along with it, right? So again, hopefully this thing here bring back our memory of chapter 2, right? This is the end of chapter 2. I did not have time to cover this problem last time. I posted, but I did not have problem to time to cover this question. Question with this problem here, question with this information, how you take this information and put in your Venn diagram, and how to use your Venn diagram to answer your question. And again, like I say, Alex have similar like this. They have a box. Each of this thing here, they have a box for you to type in the answer in. Okay. All right. If you don't have question with this one here, let's take a look at chapter 11. So again, we're done with chapter 3. We're done with chapter 2. We're done with chapter 10. The last chapter we have is chapter 11, which should be fresh in our memory, right? We just finished this thing here, which is again to begin with. We have this item, and again, someone sent me the question for number 4. When I get there, I mention it again. But again, 1, 2, and 3 should be easy. Hopefully, you guys remember how do we find a mean, which is to find a mean very easy. You take each of your number. You add them up, and you divide it by the total number of data, right? Take each of your data, add them up, and divide by the total number. If you add them up, you have 54, divide by 9, you will have 6, right? So the mean here is 6, right? So that's to find a mean, that's what you need to do is add each individual data, divide by the total number of data, right? How do you find a median? Well, to find a median, the first thing, the most important thing is, ladies and gentlemen, reminder that your data have to be in order. And once your data is in order, in this case, your data is in order. And once your data in order, if you have an odd number of data, the middle number is your median. If you have an even number of data, you take the middle 2, add them up, and divide by 2, right? So again, this is what we have, which is in this case, this is your median, which is 8, right? Again, they are symmetric. We have 5 on the left and 5 on the right, right? And again, for the mode, is very easy, which is we just glance at this thing here and we ask ourselves which data appear up the most, right? Whichever data appear up the most, that's your mode, right? Again, number 3 appear up the most, that's why it's the mode, right? So again, those 3 should be easy. The next 2 is easy too, right? The next 2, the mid-range. The mid-range reminder, the mid-range is you take the smallest data, add to the highest data and divide it by 2, right? That's the mid-range. Take the lowest, add the highest, divide by 2, which is we find the middle of the range, right? And again, how do we find the range? Reminder, the range is take the highest minus the lowest, right? So this 5 items, the mean, the median, the mode, the mid-range, and the range should be very easy, right? Should be easy in that. So here comes the hard one, which is how do we find the standard deviation? So one thing, ladies and gentlemen, I think 2 students sent me an email, asked me relate to this standard deviation. So I point out this last time is make sure on Alex that they ask you to find the standard deviation for there are 2 types of questions, which is they ask you to find the standard deviation for the sample or to find the standard deviation for the population, right? So I mentioned this last time that for the sample, at the 4th step, we have to divide by n minus 1. But if they ask you for population, you have to just divide it by n. You have to divide by the whole total data, okay? So let's take a look at this thing here, which is, again, I will mention it once we get there again. Reminder, there are 6 steps to find the standard deviation, right? There are 6 steps to find the standard deviation, which is in this case, the 6 step, or the first step, we have to find the mean, right? Just like number 1, we have to find the mean, which is you have to take each of your data, which is 2, 2, 3, 5, 9, 9. You take each of the data, add them up, and divide by, in this case, we have 6 data.